techniques threat actors use to achieve their goals. I want to start by giving a big shout out and heartfelt thank you to the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, JMEA, for organizing this important session and for their continued work in supporting the growth and resilience of Jamaica. We'll explore how small and medium-sized businesses, can strengthen their digital defenses, protect their operations, and build lasting cyber resilience, all with practical and cost-effective strategies. So before we dive in, how many of you here are representing manufacturing or production-based companies today? You can just type it in the chat. Okay, I see one answer. Anybody else? All right, seems everybody else is shy. Okay. Now the responses are coming in. Okay, thank you, everybody. All right, so this session was designed with you in mind. All right. Skip to the next slide. So in this session, we'll explore the cybersecurity challenges facing SMEs, especially those in the manufacturing and productive sectors. We'll look at the most common threats, the risks they pose, practical and low-cost ways to strengthen your defenses. We'll also share proven best practices and frameworks, discuss how to build a strong culture of awareness, and outline key recommendations for improving resilience across the sector. Finally, we'll show how Blue Qubit Consulting's Coro platform ties it all together, before wrapping up with a Q&A session and a special giveaway at the end. Now, why cybersecurity matters for SMEs? As SMEs embrace digital transformation using cloud tools, connected devices, and smart production systems, we also open more doors for cyber attacks. Threat actors often target small and medium-sized businesses because they tend to have weaker defenses, but access to valuable data. A single ransomware attack can shut down production for days. This causes data loss and erode customer trust, all while draining financial resources as well. This isn't a big company problem anymore. It's a every business problem. So manufacturing and production are now top targets for cyber criminals, right? With the rise of IT or IoT automation and interconnected systems, the risks go beyond stolen data. We're talking about downtime, safety issues, and equipment damage as well. A real-world example of this is Jaguar Land Rover, which had to halt factory operations after a cyber attack. According to the PwC, cyber attacks on manufacturers have spiked over 300% in the last few years. That's a lot, and it shows how critical it is for businesses to be proactive and to think about protection. Now, that might sound like something that only happens overseas, but who remembers when the Bureau of Standards Jamaica, the BSJ, was hit by a ransomware attack in February 2024. That incident actually disrupted their operations and ended up costing them roughly 231,000 US dollars. That's about 36 million JMD just to recover their system. So think about that for a moment. One attack, millions in recovery cost, and critical services brought to a standstill. It's a clear reminder that these threats aren't distant. They're happening right here at home. And as more local manufacturers adapt automation and IoT devices, we're becoming just as attractive to cyber criminals as any major international company. Now I have a poll Sorry if I'm stop sharing. Let me fix that. Now I have a question and answer for you guys. Let me just share that section. Okay, so the question is, which of the following cyber threats do you believe poses the greatest risk to your business right now? So you guys can answer in the chat. Let me see the answers. Let me see. I see A. I see C. Technically all above. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, any more answers? Okay, B. All right, all right. All right, we have a mixed amount of answers. All right, so let's move on. So now, let's look at the main threats that we're up against. So ransomware and encryption attacks. So this is where a threat actor locks up your files and demands payment. Then we have phishing and social engineering. This is tricking employees into revealing access credentials. We have supply chain attacks. So this is where vendors or a third-party software becomes entry points. So let's say your manufacturing company uses a trusted vendor that provides inventory management software. Everything seems secure, the software is updated regularly, and it's from a reputable source. But what you don't know is the vendor's software update system was compromised. Hackers inserted malicious code into it, and one of the updates or inserted malicious code into one of the updates. So when your system automatically downloads and installs that update, the attacker's malware slips into your network, giving them access to your data, systems, and even connected machinery. This is exactly what happened in the famous SolarWinds attack. Hackers compromised the software of a US-based IT management company when thousands of clients, including major corporations and government agencies, installed the update. They unknowingly invited hackers or attackers inside their systems. Then we have insider threats or misconfigurations. An example of this is when an employee accidentally shared a sensitive production file publicly on Google Drive. That's misconfiguration. And insider threats, a staff member leaving the company copied client data before resigning. That's an insider threat. Then we have attacks on PLCs and field devices. This can disrupt or damage physical systems when attackers compromise these systems. They can change how the machines work. For example, forcing a valve to stay open or closed, disrupting a conveyor belt, overheating a furnace, or shutting down or damaging critical equipment. Essentially, any section of connection can be a point of vulnerability. Let me skip back a bit. Kind of skip too much there. One moment here, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, here we are. Here we are. Now, when we talk about the risk of poor data visibility, it's easy to think of it as an abstract IT problem. But I want to make it very real for you. So this isn't just about data, it's about the direct impact on your businesses, stability, and reputation. So let me paint a clearer picture. Without a firm grip on your data, you are exposed to a cascade of serious consequences. First, you face operational and financial damage. This means unplanned downtime, which leads to directly production loss and can trigger significant financial penalties for breaching service level agreements. Second, the security threats are profound. It's not just about hackers. It's about risk, internal sabotage, critical safety issues, and the devastating loss of intellectual property that you've worked so hard to develop. And finally, the long-term damage. This erodes the very foundation of your business, and that erosion leads to lasting reputational damage. And in today's world, it's almost certain with certainly this almost certainly ends with substantial regulatory fines from governing bodies. From small manufacturers, even a single serious incident can threaten their business continuity. All right, so fortunately, there are some frameworks to guide your cybersecurity efforts. So the NIST cybersecurity frameworks help you identify, protect, detect, and respond and recover as well to these cybersecurity threats. Adapting a zero trust module means not automatically trusting any device or user. Also, secure by design. These are principles to help integrate security from the start rather than after the fact. And of course, continuous monitoring, threat detection, and vendor risk management are essential to keeping systems safe. Now I have another poll. So how would you rate your company's current cybersecurity readiness level? You can just drop the answer in the chat. A, B, C, or D. Anyone you feel you can relate to. A, tested cybersecurity. Okay, you guys have, most of you are saying A. A, okay. Okay, A. So everybody is saying A. Okay. Right, Coro. All right. Okay. All right. So building a culture of cyber awareness. So technology alone won't protect us. Everybody knows that. People play a crucial role. So every employee should be trained to recognize phishing attempts and practice safe digital habits. Leaders must set the tone by making cybersecurity a shared responsibility. Often said at Blue Qubit Consulting is awareness is your first firewall. Regular simulations, quick reporting, and positive reinforcement go a long way in keeping your workforce alert and engaged as well. So what are some recommendations for the productive sector? So based on what we've seen across the industry, here are some recommendations. Focus on critical process lines or high value machinery. Choose lightweight, modular security tools that don't slow down your operations. Partner with trusted vendors or trusted cybersecurity vendors or managed services if you don't have any internal capacity. Share threat intelligence with industry peers. Buy cyber champions inside your organization. and most importantly, budget realistically. Even the most modest investments can make a huge difference. Now, to bring one of these risks to life, I want to show a real world example. We're going to jump into a short video. I call Rob's dodgy download, right? So pay close attention because immediately after the video, I'll have a quick quiz question about what you just saw. The person to answer correctly in the chat will win a prize. So keep an eye out for the key mistake Bob makes. So let's take a look.
Looks like our friend Rob is having yet another stressful day at the office. Creating spreadsheets was never his strong point. He eventually decides to instead scour the internet for some spreadsheet templates to use. Now let's see. Does this site look trustworthy? Oh, I guess you're just jumping right in and downloading from this site then. Oh no, what on earth is happening to your computer, Rob? It seems as though your hasty impulse download has caused your computer to become infected with malware. I know of a certain mustached fellow that will find this outcome most delightful. Well, what did Rob miss? For one, the URL bar at the top of the page lacked a lock symbol, which is a very important indicator that the connection is not secure and could be intercepted by an attacker. Furthermore, he should have ensured that he is clicking an actual download button on the website, rather than an ad that misleads visitors by posing as a download button. Finally, it never hurts to closely observe the domain name of the website to ensure that it is a legitimate website, rather than a fake one with a similar domain with some pesky letters missing or added. Now that Rob is calmer, I'm sure he can look elsewhere to find the spreadsheet he so desperately desires. Check that you're really on the website you think you're on by inspecting the domain or using a search engine to find the legitimate version of the site. Ensure that there is a lock bar in the URL bar at the top of your browser to make sure your connection has not been intercepted. Make sure that you're clicking actual download buttons rather than ads. Don't download anything or enter your credentials unless you're completely sure that the site is legitimate and you can trust it.
All right. All right, so thank you for watching. I hope that illustrates how quickly a simple mistake can create a major problem. Now, for that quiz I promised, here's the question. Now, Rob's computer got infected after downloading software. So what was the key mistake he made? The first person to type the correct letter into the chat wins a prize. So let's go. That was quick. That was quick. Okay, anybody else want to try? A, okay. So A is the correct answer, and the first person to answer A is David. I'm not. Oh, sorry. My mistake. The first person to correctly answer. Let's see. Let me scroll back through. Let's see who said it first. Oh, so
Answer Anthony, that's A.
No, the answer is B.
D?
B, as in
B?
boy.
Oh, oh, I
So
think
that's
that would be Vicky.
yeah, so that would be Vicky. My mistake. I didn't see the name correctly. So that's Vicky. Okay. Vicky, you can just type your email into the chat and Carrie-Ann will reach out to you. I'll announce the prize that you win as well at the end. Okay, so now that we're past that, so now let's talk about how our solution, the Coro cybersecurity platform, ties everything together. So Coro offers an all-in-one approach for SMEs, phishing and malware detection, endpoint protection, automated response and remediation, compliance reporting as well. It's also affordable, scalable, and automated, meaning you don't need a large IT team to stay protected. For manufacturing and productive businesses, Coro helps maintain uptime, protect sensitive data, and ensures compliance, all with minimal overhead. Now I'll give you a visual demonstration of our security solution. So let me share that with you guys. Let me know if you guys are seeing this right now. You guys are seeing this? Just say yes, anybody? Let me know. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so I like to start with the cloud security module firstly. So our cloud security module, right? Before I get into it, Coro generates tickets, right? So the whole process of documenting cybersecurity incidents is in the form of tickets. So now let me hop over to the ticket log, and you won't see any open tickets because we don't have any open tickets, thankfully. So as you can see, a ticket is generated for each module, right? And it's an all-in-one platform. So the ticket log will compose of all the tickets that have been generated over the workspace. If you like to see the tickets generated for each set module, then you'll just see, you can just access it by filtering this out. So if I want to see tickets from the cloud security module, then I'd be able to see this from filtering it out. Any one of them that I'd like to choose. Right, so the cloud security module, right, is responsible for access permission violation, as well as many other things. So in the cloud security module, we'll be able to access, or whenever a ticket is generated for access permissions violation, we'll be able to see the contents of that ticket. So which user this ticket was generated from, the time frame, from what to what, the IP address as well, and how many times this user has tried to log in. We can see all of the comments as well that previous MSP administrators have left on this ticket as well. So here we see all of that. So now let me go back to the settings of this. So here's where we'd be able to set these permissions in place. So as you can see, we have Jamaica, the United States, Philippines, Canada, and the list goes on. So whenever we set these policies in place, we can either set it for an alert to be sent out to the MSP administrators, or what type of user action would be taken, whether it's logging out that user, asking that user to re-log in, suspending that user, and the list goes on of what you're able to do just from the console itself. Coro actually integrates, the cloud security module actually integrates with various cloud applications, including Google Workspace, Microsoft 365, Slack, Dropbox, Box, and Salesforce as well. You can see we're able to see all of the connected third-party apps that Coro provides protection whenever any of our users are browsing. So we can block the users from visiting these sites if we need to, or if we want to. It all depends on what you want. Now, this is the section that we'd go to set how many days before a user is titled or labeled as inactive. You can see we have 30 days for our section as well. Now I'll hop over to the email security module. So the email security module actually safeguards against a various number of things, including email or malware in any of your emails, spam, phishing, newly registered domains, encrypted attachments, unverified sender, unknown external senders as well. From this section, we'll be able to set the permissions in place, whether we want this type of threat to be quarantined or we want the recipient. We've set that to quarantine because we don't want it to get through to the recipients. So any type of email that comes in with a malware attached to it, it wouldn't go to the user's email or inbox. Automatically sent to the quarantine folder, and a ticket would be generated in order for the MSP administrator to find that email and take necessary actions. Secondly, from this section, we'd be able to set what type of types or email attachment types, or file types. My apologies. So you can see we have CMD, EXE, and various other amounts of file types that we can set in place to be blocked. Then we have the allow list, where we allow these domains to bypass the security scans that Coro will initiate on an email whenever it's going into one of your users' inboxes. So you can see we have thinkandchange.com. That's our domain. So we allowed that. And then from here, we said whether we want a dedicated spam folder or a system trash folder for these emails to go to. So now this is the allow and the block list, where we'd be able to block domains themselves or the emails themselves. And it's pretty easy to add an email that you'd like to block. You just click this button, and you can add a allow list or add to block list or import a CSV file of the list of emails you'd like to block or the list of emails that you'd like to allow list. Now, this is the add-in section where we can deploy an agent for our users to provide feedback to our MSP administrators. So let's say someone was blocked mistakenly, then the user can reach out to the MSP administrator using this function to get it rectified. And this is our security, secure messages section, where this provides a one-to-one portal for transmitting emails, or an encrypted portal for transmitting emails for your users. I'd love to give you guys an example, or I'll give you guys an example soon enough. Then we have endpoint protection. This is protection over your endpoints, right? So you can see we have various policies set up for each type of device, macOS and Windows. So device passwords missing, the firewalls disabled, unencrypted endpoint drives, gatekeeper disabled, Apple mobile file integrity disabled, Wi-Fi connection, USB lockdown, and the list goes on. There are various amount of things that you can add policies for. As you can see here, I just click add, and I add to Windows or macOS pretty easily. Now, this is the next gen antivirus and monitoring. So this is where you go to set up your scans or remote malware scans, how frequent you want the scans to go out, what devices you want the scans to cover as well. Also, you'd be able to include, if you'd like Coro to take or enforce snapshots of your files from here. So let's say something were to happen and you end up losing some files, then Coro would be taking these constant snapshots, which allows you to recover those private files pretty easily. Then we have the allow and block list. This is where we go to allow and block certain hash processes from being operated on the endpoint devices. Endpoints, when I say endpoints, I mean devices like, laptops, your computer, printer, anything. The list goes on. Now, this is where we go to schedule these malware scans. Pretty easy as well to schedule the malware scans. Click macOS or Windows devices that you want it to scan, how frequent, the time frame, and you can add a label to it as well. Coro actually offers Wi-Fi phishing as well for these devices. So now we go to endpoint data governance, or let me start with user endpoint. Let's start with endpoint data governance. So I know there are a lot of compliance standards that have been put in place, right? With the Jamaica Data Protection Act being one of them. So Coro is very much customizable or scalable for in alignment with these compliance standards, right? As you can see, we have personal data being recommended to be protected, credit card data, non-public data as well. And we have these sensitive data scans for these. Now, how this actually works, right? Let me go back to the ticket log. So endpoint data governance, close tickets, my bad. So let's say one of your users has this type of information on their device. Then Coro would conduct these malware or sensitive data scans and generate tickets to alert you that, hey, this user has this information on their device, and the MSP administrator would take action to rectify this, right? By removing the information from that device to a secure storage location. So as you can see, we get the contents of the email or of the ticket. Financial content is stored on this user's device, and then we had to go ahead and remove that so the ticket can be closed. There are also certain actions that we can take from here. So let's say we want to update the agent to the latest stable version. We can do that, reboot the device, add a label, disable protection, remote scan that device only for sensitive data. You can isolate from the network or shut down the device entirely just from here. All right. Then we switch to the user data governance module. This is the same thing, but this is protection for the users, right? This is where you'd be able to set, let's say, for example, you have a user who is responsible for financial records, and they try to share those financial records with someone who's basically not allowed to have that information. Then a ticket would be generated to say, hey, this was the user potentially tried to share this information. So these are all the types of information or types of compliances that we protect. So we have passwords, certificates, source code, specific file types we can add here as well. So then this is where we go to set the permissions as well. So we can say all users can access and expose. or we remove that permission entirely. So it depends on what your needs are. So we have credit card data, non-public, the list goes on. You can even add more permissions here if you'd like. And then we can add exclusions as well for a specific subject line in emails from here. So if I want to add test, I can add that as well. Now this is the EDR section. This is where we go to optimize the certain hash processes that I mentioned before on the devices. So we can block that process from being operated, whatever. These are some of the registry keys for our machines. So you can see we use a lot of Chromebooks, hence the reason why you see Chrome exe for most of these. And then back to the allow and block list as well. And lastly, we have our security awareness training module, right? So Coro actually provides this module for free. It's included in your subscription whenever you subscribe or hop on board. So there are some simulations and it offers trainings as well. So in the past, if you can, let me just jump right into this one. Or this one. So in the past, we've had some simulations being operated. So these simulations are basically to keep your employees on point, right? So after Coro assigns your employee a security training, right, it would send them a simulation to see if they've retained the knowledge that they've learned from the security trainings that they've sent out. And you can see the trainings are around compliance. We have GDPR, HIPAA, PCI, and you're able to add more or include more if you need to. From this session, if you have a new user, or this section, if you have a new user and you want to assign them a training, then you can enable that. So that's whenever a new user comes on board, they get a training simultaneously. This is the amount of users that we had or connected services. We can connect more if we need to, if you want to connect Microsoft or another email service to it. Over to the presentation. All right, let's share this section back with you guys. All right, so the giveaway. So the giveaway that we have currently for Vicky, if I remember clearly, it was Vicky, right? So Vicky actually won. So she will receive a month trial or a 1 month free trial of the Coro platform. All right, so I'd recommend everybody to take that first step towards stronger cyber resilience. So scan the code or the QR code to schedule your free consultation, and let's work together to protect your businesses. So I'm gonna leave it up there for a quick moment for anyone who wants to scan. Oh yeah, and Karian has provided the link in the chat as well. All right. So I want to thank you all for your time and attention. A huge thank you again to the JMEA for giving us this platform to raise awareness and support Jamaica's growing manufacturing and productive community. Now, I'd love to hear from you all. What questions or concerns you guys may have, you can go ahead. I'm currently scouring the chat. In the meantime, I'm going to jump to the next slide.
All right, everyone. So we're at our Q&A. If you have any questions, you can feel free to drop them in the chat, or you can simply raise your hands using the icon. We have about 10 minutes for our Q&A. All right, so we have a question in the chat, Anthony. This is from Mr. Duncan. I currently use something similar when you are scheduling action. If the target device is off, does it miss that scan or action it when next device is on?
Yeah, so he's referring to the remote scans that Coro operates or does, right? So yeah, if the device is turned off, it will showcase that the device is offline, and whenever that device is turned on again, then Coro would do that remote scan to check what type of data or if there's any malware or anything of the sort that it finds concerning is on your device. All right, seems we don't have any more. Okay, thank you. Any more questions from anybody else? All right,
It
seems we don't
is.
have any more questions. If you'd like to take over.
Yes, I was just about to say we can close, Anthony. And I want to say thank you for such an insightful presentation. Us as manufacturers, this is really important because you mentioned that manufacturing is the top target, and consequences for us, loss of production time, loss of downtime, and this can cause us millions in recovery. So your presentation today gave us a better understanding on how we can safeguard our systems and data. So, ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you all, please, to stay alert and take steps before there's a problem. So please to continue to update your software regularly, do your regular training internally within your organization just to create awareness, and to also to regularly review your security measures instead of waiting for something to happen. So thank you again, Anthony, and thank you all for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you again, guys, for attending.
Alrighty, bye.